Hello everyone and welcome back to Farmer Joe Homesteading. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I clean out my incubators to get them put away after the season has finished. Today we are going to be cleaning out my Nutri-Right 360. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get rid of all of the shells and any bigger pieces that have been left behind in the incubator. You take your turner out. Any of these bigger shell pieces I like to try and get into the garbage as well, because they just become a hindrance when you're trying to wash. They get stuck into everything. Okay. So I also do the shoestring method. So I'm going to remove my shoestring and get it into the water as well. Now you're left with a soupy, disgusting mess in here, so I just dump that out as well. So before I fill my sink, I like to rinse it out a few times first, because it is so full of the chick fluff and their first poops and whatnot, so I like to make sure it is nice and rinsed out. The whatever stuff will come up loosely on its own. With the 360, the turner is attached, so you want to make sure you keep an eye on this because you don't want it to get wet. Alright, so that's all that wants to come out willingly. So in my sink here, I have the turner attachment and the mat or base for the incubator here. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and plug my sink. I'm going to use quite hot water, which sucks for filming this right now and cleaning this in the middle of a heat wave, but it needs to be done. So I have Dawn dish soap, which is what I usually always use because it's safe for use for animals and such. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Dawn, and I always add bleach when I'm cleaning my incubators as well. Just a little bit to the water to help kill any bacteria, because it is quite gross after the hatch. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this fill, and then I'll show you guys what to do next. The base is usually the trickiest because it can't be fully submerged. So I just did that squirt of soap across it. I can add a little bit of this hot water to the water chambers here. Toothbrush, old toothbrushes are my absolute favorite for cleaning out incubators. So I've got this old toothbrush here, and that is what I'm going to be using for cleaning out the base. So I just go through all of the columns. The first pass, I'm just kind of loosening up all of the debris stuff that's been stuck on here. So I'm just gonna run this through all of the parts and pieces in here and make sure that I get everything. And then for the next one, when I wash it the second time, then I can really see what areas need a lot more scrubbing. And then I can add, that's when I usually add bleach to this base as well, and give it a good scrub with the bleach and the Dawn. All right, so that's the first pass. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it out again. going to try and shake out all the leftover bits of shell that get kind of lodged and stuck in all of the tray spots. Okay, so now that I got all of the shells out, this is where we are at. So I'm going to go ahead and add my little bit of water. I'm going to add my soap. And I'm going to add my bleach. I'm going to add more to this middle tray because it looks like it has quite a bit of water staining there, and then this outside run as well. Okay. So I'm going to let this have a little soak and go ahead and start tackling the other pieces here. So the toothbrush still is very handy when it comes to washing these parts and pieces as well, because it just helps really get into all of those nooks and crannies. All right, it's time for the second scrub. The only other tool I love for cleaning is Q-tips, because it gets in a lot of these really hard to reach places that even I can't get with the toothbrush. So I do use Q-tips every time I wash an incubator too. So this is the finished base, all shined up after the second wash. I have hard water, so we have water damage to this one. That's just water staining. It doesn't affect the incubator whatsoever, and it has been soaked and scrubbed in bleach, so it is as clean as I'm going to get it. This centerpiece, we have a spot here that has rusted, and so it gets rusty, so I've scrubbed that out with a Q-tip, and this is about as good as I can normally get them. You can see there's still some water damage in there. So once I'm satisfied that I have scrubbed it as much as I can with the toothbrush and bleach, then it is ready to be set out to dry, and then it can be packaged back up in its box. So for cleaning the tops, that's always been something that's always stumped me, because all of the electronical parts and pieces are in the top, but it does get quite dusty in that piece here. So typically what I will do for that is I will take it outside and blow on it, or blow air into it to try and get some of the dust and dander off. And then if the outside glass gets pretty dirty, I'll give it a quick wipe down just with a wet cloth. But typically that's all I do with the top, because it is all of the electronic parts and pieces, and I don't want to damage any of those things for my incubator. The only other thing that you need to wash is your shoestring, if you used one, which I just do at the end. I just put some soap on it and give it a really good scrub. So I left it in the sink overnight to dry out completely before putting it back into its box. And that's it. It is now officially completely packed up and ready for storage to bust out for the next hatching season. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you can keep up with that next hatching season. We'll see you guys next time.